Welcome to B.A.Showoff, the Dance Lifestyle Podcast. My name is Becky.
And I'm Alexandra. And today we're going to be introducing Geovanna Garavelo-Bortoleto.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for being with us here today.
I'm so honored.
Of course. So, Jovi, because I call you Jovi, can you tell us a little bit about you and how you got started in dance?
Yeah, so I grew up surrounded by dance. My mom was actually my dance teacher, my ballet teacher. But I swore that I was never going to be like her. I said I was never, ever going to dance. And so it took me a while. I started at age 9 or 10 at a competitive studio in Orlando and where she worked. So we're originally from Brazil. She owned 2 studios over there and moved to Orlando to open up her own studio. That was her goal. She worked in multiple places, stuck in one for 10 years, and that's where I started competitively dancing until we opened up our own in 2016. So I've been co-directing the company, teaching there since I was 16 myself, and yeah, ever since then, co-directing and got involved with dance team my super senior year of college, and now I'm doing what I do and traveling, and I love it.
What was your vision of what you were going to do with dance when you graduated, when you finished, or when you were, studying dance when you were younger?
Yeah, I actually didn't know if I wanted to go much further. I didn't know you could go further after high school. I saw like the ballerinas and you can go into companies and things, and I was more so involved on the concert style, more so like ballet companies. That's all I really knew that was a thing. I never grew up doing hip hop or anything like that. And I stopped dancing for a while. So I just wanted to teach at one point. And then I actually got messages from Joyce Winter, and she was in my DMs, and she would send me the flyer for the UCF auditions, and I was like, okay, like maybe I'll go, maybe I won't. I was giving privates to one of the girls that was going to audition, and I was choreographing her solo, and I ended up joining that side of the world pretty later on, young college, or at the end of my college days. But before that, like I just was dabbling in classes every now and then at like the drop-in studios in Orlando at Underground Movement, and I ended up going to Motive. I joined their crew for a year, where I met Nathan Jerry, and not met, but rekindled our friendship over there. But I didn't know you could really go further until expanding my vision into dance team, expanding. Start getting my love for dance back, to be honest. I feel like that's where I was kind of like dealing with being on the seesaw of my passion for it.
And what did you study in college while you were in college?
I did kinesiology. So I majored in kinesiology, and I was really determined to get my doctorate to become a physical therapist for dancers specifically. So with the dance studio that me and my mom created, I really wanted to open a practice right beside it and be the physical therapist for dancers, because I went through injuries where people just told me to stop dance, and I refused. I refused for that.
Like most dancers.
Like most dancers. There's definitely a market for it, and like I know doctors for dancers is a thing now as well, and I think that's great, but I just really wanted to have my own practice.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And what inspired you to start this business so young?
It was my mom's dream. She gave me the opportunity to teach, and then I obviously was going to support her. This was her dream. This was her reason for moving to the States. So I just kind of fell right into it. There was a position open. She trusted me. She was like, I'll train you to how to teach and how to do X, Y, and Z and have fun. And it felt right. So.
And then you got into dance team, and then you started doing that a little bit more. So how did that change your trajectory of dance?
Completely. Because after just teaching for a while and like taking classes and training in LA every now and then, like I started seeing my path go to like the LA dancer route. But doing dance team, I truly did it on a whim for fun. I was like, I need friends in college. Like I didn't have the college experience because I was already in the career. And then seeing, like I didn't know anything about it. Like a Boy, like LSU was my first like that's actually super dope. Like what is this? Like let me get into this. And doing more research and getting in with Tribe like completely changed everything. Like I don't know where I would be with dance right now without the choreography dance team aspect. I can't picture my life in any other way.
So what have you been doing since you graduated from college?
So Nathan and I moved to Los Angeles. We joined Tribe. We worked with the LSU Tiger Girls for the Smooth Criminal locking portion. Lords was actually my first tribe team, working with Nathan. And so we've just been doing the choreography side, and then we're just really pursuing dance right now, like out in LA, trying our best, finding our footing out there.
And choreography-wise, you do a little bit of everything, or are you focused on one style?
I definitely am more on the contemporary side. That's what I did. I choreographed the contemporary jazz at my dance studio for years. But I've been training with Nathan. He's sitting over there, by the way. I've just been learning under him, like every time he teaches and does all these things. And I've learned the importance of foundation in hip hop and how like it's definitely misconstrued and not represented the way that I believe it should be. And I just think that's so important. Like I grew up super technical and understanding how like the methodology of ballet is super important. There's different schools and there's history, and hip hop has a whole other side to it as well. So I just wanted to, I just fell into it. Honestly, I fell into getting in, like learning about it, and it's been awesome. And yeah,
I feel like we've talked about that before, that that ballet and stuff, you think about all the technicalities, and it wasn't until I started working with you guys that I started thinking, oh wow, there really are a lot of more technical aspects to hip hop.
Oh my gosh.
And you think like the normal, like be grounded, things like that, but there's a lot of little stylistic and different kinds of hip hop that people don't really tap into
and even
anymore.
things that people think that are hip hop that are not.
Yes.
Like we were just teaching, and like he was teaching yesterday, and we were just explaining like the umbrella, like there's funk styles, there's street styles that are not considered hip hop, like, and things that you normally would consider that. And so I'm just learning a lot from him, so it's great.
And jazz funk a lot of times,
A whole other thing.
It's a whole other, like it falls under hip hop, but it's not. It's not hip hop, but you still, you kind of combine the two styles of jazz and hip hop, and you come up with this great style. So yeah, definitely it's something that I don't think it's taught enough, and it's very hard to find good hip hop teachers out there.
Yes,
there really
people
aren't that
who
many.
acknowledge in the technique of it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are raw, which is it's cool. I mean, you
it's
find
amazing.
some raw talent out there, but it's cool to find and cool to do like real hip hop from trained dancers. That
saves the culture too. Like there's just a whole thing about it that is missed.
And I think there's a big shift right now happening in dance team with hip hop, that
100%.
now they're starting to appreciate the style aspect of it more than just throwing the tricks and doing all of that.
Absolutely. Which is really nice to see. It's very evolutionary, and I appreciate the fact that people do want to evolve. I think that's super important.
Yes.
And out there in LA, what is your goal? What do you want to do out there? What are you pursuing?
I do like film a lot. Ever since doing my first movie, I did Descendants Rise of Red in 2023. I believe that's when that was filmed. I realized that behind the camera more so, I prefer over the live performances. I do have stage fright, even though I'm a dancer. Very bad stage fright. So I do like the film aspect. Since I was a kid, before even wanting to dance, I wanted to act. Like that was more so my path I thought it was going to be. But now I'm just training. Like I'm appreciating dancing again. Because ever since I stopped and I was just teaching, like I was putting into so many people and without like filling my cup and making sure that I was a student first.
Yeah.
So I'm just really taking it one day at a time, so I don't overwhelm myself out there. But it's been nice, just training and seeing what happens, God's timing.
It's hard with dance because you need to do it at a young age.
Yeah.
Because, our bodies, as we get older, we start shutting down.
Tell me about it.
And you don't realize how quickly it starts happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you graduate from high school and it's like, ooh, that hurts. And then you graduate from college and you're like, oh my God, everything hurts. But
once you're in your 30s, you can't move.
No, if you did dance team in college, you can't move by 20.
Right, exactly.
And it's crazy because it is limited. Like you really need to get out there, but at the same time, you want to get out there, but you still have so much learning to do that I think that sometimes dancers don't really take the time to just, okay, this is what I need to do to get to this point and train properly. They just want to get out there. And that's scary because if you don't train properly, you're going to get injured or you're going to take a job just to take a job and things like that. So, it's not that easy. Like people think it's easy, but it's not.
And it's also, I think there's important life lessons that you have to learn in those like early years right after high school before doing a big jump like that. I just know for myself, not everybody, there's those like 1 in a million, those exceptions that can just go out there and be super successful. But I do think there is something super important about like learning within your community, like finding, I don't want to say your identity, but who you are more so in dance versus just being just another number out there. Because at the end of the day, like there's so many good movers, but 25% is talent. Like everything else is the networking, how you are as a person, how you act in rehearsals, knowing your own weaknesses and what you need to take care of yourself out there. Yeah. Like you're just such a young adult, people moving out there. And I'm happy I did it at 24.
Well, and dance is a hard thing to break into at that age.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think that growing into that, you need to understand failure and how to even build from that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a lot of rejection. So learning how to deal with the rejection is a big part of the growth in order to get you even to do more in the dance world.
Yeah, building that thick skin, I think I'm just so grateful that I did it now, because I've gotten eaten up by the wolves out there if I did it at 18. And there's still struggles. Like, there's still times where you doubt yourself and things. But at the end of the day, like, I know I have the tools in my back pocket to be like, no, like, I can do this. I can push through.
No, and you having, family that is in dance, I'm sure that helped a lot, because I'm sure that your mom wasn't like, oh my God, you didn't get it. I'm sure your mom's like, well, pick
Next
up
one.
and go.
It's true, 100%. Yeah, my sister's on the, my sister's more on the ballet side. So she's on like that chase right now for ballet companies. So she moved out to the UK for a year. She was on a trainee company there at the UK ballet school in Hinckley. And that's the chase that she's in. And my mom's just like, all right, next one. It's okay. Move on. Just one thing after the other. And it's nice to have that support for sure.
Absolutely. And do you still connect with your mom with the studio since you're now in LA?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I come back.
Yes. I have to. They're my kids. Like, they mean everything to me. And like, I've just seen them growing up. And it's weird being so young, especially starting teaching them when I was only 16, still figuring out how to teach and how to lead a room. But I've just seen them growing up.
Yeah. But what a great experience that you had that opportunity. I mean, it's nice that at a young age you learned classroom skills, you learned.
Yeah.
Because people don't realize as a teacher, you are still learning yourself.
You have to be a student first.
Absolutely. And you're teaching how to do something, but then you're going, oh my God, I feel it in this muscle. And you're able to explain it because you're doing it. You're still young and you're still, your muscles are still growing. You're still understanding your muscles. So I think all that is great that you were able to have that opportunity at a young age to learn how to teach young kids.
Yeah. I think that's what also allowed me to keep up and stay in tune with how dance is moving now. I wouldn't have been able to make the dance team if I wasn't training while I was teaching.
Yeah.
So I think that was so
and as a teacher, you're constantly dancing. You can't do pas de bourrée without having to do it over and over yourself 15,000 times to get the kids to learn how to do it.
Absolutely.
So you're constantly, moving. When I stopped teaching classroom teaching like that, my body changed. Like, I just felt like my muscles were just going away. And that was that you're not dancing, but you're teaching. And it's just from doing those little things. You're
over and over and over again.
Yep. And it's great. I mean, it's great for you. And it's great when you're able to move like that. So it's awesome that you did that at a young age, because you'll have like that experience for, now as you get older, you'll still have all that you got to teach the kids. And the kids learn from you being young, and they watched you also develop. So how cool is that?
Special. It's definitely special.
And what's it been like now breaking into the dance team world? Because you started working with LSU, and then you started working for me.
Yes, I did.
And then now you guys are also doing FSU. So how has all of that been like?
A whirlwind experience. I can say that. I'm just so grateful. Like, it's really a blessing that we were able to just like get these great teams off of first year. Like, we were still technically apprentices when we joined in, and I've just learned so much. I've just learned so much being on Tribe, and it's been a lot of fun. A lot of stress because obviously the pressure is on. It's so competitive, and it's been amazing.
But you'll learn every time that you go out there, you do it, and the next year you're going to learn new things. And
absolutely.
And it's so different from what the commercial world is like. So
Completely.
What have you seen is different from what you do in LA to what you're doing with Dance Team?
I definitely think it's a lot more formulated in Dance Team. I definitely think there is like a process, and you follow it, and the world around you adapts, and then you adapt that process. I think the shift in LA is a little bit more unspoken. Like, nowadays there's not many auditions happening. It's more so like who you know and direct books. And it's just making sure that you're keeping up appearances, that you're still showing up, and just being in the right place in the right time.
Yeah.
So and I'm also still learning. I'm very green out there. I just moved.
Yeah, you're still young.
Still figuring it out.
You're young and you have time, but
yeah,
definitely, it's who you know. I mean, that's everything in life, but it's really who you know that's going to help you get to those points. So, but you guys, so lucky that you guys got such great teams right off the bat.
Oh my gosh. So blessed. So thank you. Thank you.
Listen, it was written in the stars for us to meet. You know
so
it.
Special. So special.
And we won our first national championships with you guys.
Yes, we did.
And that was so amazing.
Oh, can't wait to wear my little white jacket.
I know. They get them today.
It is so special when you connect with your team. Like when you come in as a choreographer and you have a connect. It's so hard if your dancers don't connect with the choreographers, and that'll happen to you, and it's hard to like continue working with them because there's just like you feel like there's nothing happening there. So it's great that you were able to connect well with them.
It clicked in all aspects, like from the kids to the process to the music to the costume finding. Like it was just so smooth and established a great relationship.
And for that to be your first team is, that's special.
So special because then everybody else has to pull up.
Yeah. It also means you guys have to pull up for next year. I mean, that's the stress.
Girl. I'm confident.
Yeah.
I'm confident.
Yeah. And it's funny because she's very different from me in a lot of things, but she, right when Nationals was over, she was already like, okay, so this is the ideas I have. These are the things I want to do. She was already like getting ready. I'm like, breathe and enjoy it.
No, there's no such thing.
Enjoy the win.
There's no such thing.
You have to enjoy for a little bit and be like, okay, and take a moment. And she was already like, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
See, that's more like me.
Yeah.
I think you're more like Nathan.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm type A in that sense, where I'm very much like, okay, we won, but now I need to win again. Now I have to do it again, and now I need to start because now you can't start too late. You have to start early.
It's true. It's just getting earlier and earlier, it seems.
I know.
Yeah, the pressure does get really intense when you get up there in the ranks.
Yeah.
So
and it's not
you don't want to drop.
No, of course not.
And it's not just, I need to come in with a great clean dance. It's I need to come in with the next best thing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Is really what it is. Because now it's not just we need to outdo ourselves. We need to outdo all the people that are going to come back.
No.
And try to win their title.
Absolutely.
Win that title.
Especially when you're doing your research before going in for a team. Like we're watching our competition, we're seeing what they're doing, we're seeing what people are not doing and how we can bring something different to the table. Like absolutely.
Yeah, no, innovation, that's so important. Like, to bring something new that people are not used to seeing, and that's something that you do have to start thinking about that ahead of time
and that's part of the fun. It's part of the fun of like, oh, so what's everybody else coming back with? What are we going to see this year? Because you never know. I mean, we could have very much, other dance teams that have maybe done well all in the past and have been amazing teams and never saw us coming might be like, oh, well, now they just got the next best thing. Now we're going to have to get the next best thing.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. That's how it goes.
Push the envelope, bold and brave. Yeah. I would take that over settling.
1,000%. Even if it's like you teeter between first, second, third place each year, if everybody's coming back and just providing competition for each other, it just makes it so much more fun, so much more enjoyable.
Keeps it alive too, like especially now that it's just getting a lot bigger. Like it's definitely, the media is definitely like looking at it a lot more, like podcasts about it and like TikToks about it and things. Like you have to be innovative. Like I don't think there's room for plateauing.
And with all the divisions that are going on now and how they've done that separation, you don't know what's coming. Like from year to year, it could be anybody, it could be anywhere. You have no idea. So it's not like, back in the day, it was like everybody was in the same thing and, nobody really shifted too much. But now it's like teams are all over the place. So you don't know what you're going to be up against from year to year. Yeah. And all these new teams coming and, they jump from being in UDA, then they'll go to DTU another year and then they'll come back. And so you've got to be so prepared for whatever's coming.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've even like started, looking at videos of the people yet, but
at a time. I'm type A. I'm not unstoppable. No, now I'm gonna like dream about it. I'm gonna have like a nightmare.
No, none of that.
When are you starting?
We start in May. We start basically a month from now.
Well, when the video comes out, we'll already be done with choreography. So when this is out, the dance is done.
Get ready. I'm not. No, I'm so excited.
No, I'm pumped.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I mean, the kids have so much fun. The kids like get so excited. They get excited to hear the song. They get excited to spend time with you guys. It's always so much fun. And it's true that there's something to be said about a connection between a choreographer, students, coaches, when everybody is in that same like cycle and everybody's just moving in the same direction at the same time. It just makes everything run so much smoother, and it just makes the product so much better because your heart's in it, and the kids' hearts are in it, the coaches' hearts are in it, and that's what makes it so much stronger. And and it reads on stage. It really does. Because it's very easy to put just a dance on a stage and make it look good. But what really shows off that passion and that desire and that like that fire on stage is that passion for the dance itself.
Absolutely.
And tell me about your experience with Tribe. Like, how have they helped you prepare to be choreographing for these amazing teams?
Can't say much, but what I can say is that they have definitely gotten us ready in the best possible way. So we do have like training seminars we would go through. I can't talk much because I know there's some sort of contractual thing that we can't really discuss.
Okay.
But we do get trained on every aspect of dance team. So whether it's like a music or score sheet or layering formations, things that I've just learned by hitting my head against a wall, choreographing for like studio routines, just written out on paper. And I'm like, wow, I knew this, but seeing it written out makes more sense.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, and it's just like little like tips and tricks for like formations or like logistics of layering, what we'll read on a stage like from this angle versus like when you're at like a regular competition for studio, and it's just seeing it written out. It's just you're able to just like follow your guidelines and you're able to like look back at your references, and they're just so great that we can call them, we can text them and be like, hey, can you look at this? Can you like let us know what you think? Like there's just always someone there for you to help you out. And it's just
we heard Carson talk last year at the coaches conference, and her seminar was about choreography, and we were just like, jaw dropped. We're like, wow, that all makes so much sense.
Yeah, and it was things that I feel like we
know,
but we like didn't understand how to execute it.
Absolutely.
And she just knew exactly what to say, how to say
PowerPoint written down, everything. I'm like, yes, this was in my brain, but I never knew how to explain it. Like if someone were to ask me to explain it, I wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah, she's a genius.
No,
she
my
really
gosh,
is.
like all hail Carson.
Yeah, she's got a great thing going, and you could tell it's very well thought out when she put all this together, and she thought out, well, this is what I want to do, and she did the path, and little by little it's grown. And I mean, I know from when I first started looking at Tribe, the first, time I opened the website, maybe 10, 12 choreographers there, like the bio. And I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Everybody on one page. Yeah. But now you open it, it's like
so many.
It's crazy. There's so many to pick from, and so many different styles. And, being able to read their bios and connect with them. I mean, it's just, she's got such a great thing going. I think that she's done an amazing job. And
with more clients coming in, we need the more choreographers, you know what I mean? Like it's just, especially because we they do their best not to have us compete in our own division. Like we want to make sure that each team is like I'm not choreographing for something that would go against Lords, for example, which I love that. Yeah. I think that's great. And with more people coming in and wanting to use Tribe, like you have to have more choreographers. So I think it's awesome that it's growing in all aspects.
Yeah, no, and for colleges too, because I mean, I know high schools and even some middle schools but for college, I think that, colleges have gotten so competitive. They're going out there, they're trying to find all these amazing choreographers, but Tribe still has, all these incredible schools that they work with. So, I love it. I love, I love seeing it, and I love to see her growing and her company growing, and, just the process of watching them in the past 5-6 years, where they've gone is just incredible. So, it's great that you guys are a part of that.
Yeah, blessed for sure. Couldn't do it without them.
And how do you feel that being a dance team choreographer now has made you a better choreographer in the studio world?
Oh my gosh. I directly correlates all like in terms of like making visuals work out, having things read better. Just my dances are just cleaner. That as well. Like I've learned how to clean, but that's also coming from like being on a dance team as well. Like I was able to pick up like, okay, yeah, like the details do matter.
Yeah.
Like the transitions do matter. I think it directly correlates. I do think that we can be a little bit more free in the studio world, just because there aren't so many rules and regulations, as well as you don't have to jam pack everything into 2 minutes.
And everybody on the stage? For the 2 minutes?
Yeah. Dance team had wings. Imagine if dance team had wings.
Yeah.
Insane. Yeah, no, I think it directly I think I've just gotten so much better as one because of you're just learning from a different avenue. Like even it's just like when getting inspired by something, like you don't have to, as a choreographer, I don't just get inspired by watching dance. Like there's other things that can inspire me, whether walking through a museum, seeing a cool art piece, listening to a song, or maybe not even art related. Like the grass looks really green and I want to tell a story about it. Like I think you just pull so much from different avenues. And so it helps me a lot.
No, and I think you nailed it when you said the transitions. That I think before studio dances, like there was no transitioning. It was like, okay, run over here and then, go to the floor and go over there. And now you have to choreograph through those transitions. And that's a challenge. Yeah. Trying to make those formations change, but you're still dancing. There's still movement happening. And I've seen that go into the studio world as well. Yeah. That they have learned that that's just as important as, all the other things that are happening on the stage. So,
which I love. It's a little life lesson too. It's not just about the A and B point. It's about the journey.
Exactly. Exactly.
Wait, that was funny.
So you are very technically trained.
Yes.
In the ballet world and all that. So how has that technical world really helped you in not just a dance team world, but now that you're in LA and everything you're doing there, how has that helped you?
Relying on foundation, just key. So especially when things get hard, I feel like a lot of the classes out there really are just about the steps sometimes and getting the video and like just showcasing yourself as the best way that you can versus like teaching the underneath. And just got to trust yourself, especially when things get like there's a lot of variations to stuff or like maybe a move that I've never seen before, something that's super left field. Just being able to rely on foundation is super important to me. I don't want to lose that. My turnout is not 180, Mom. I'm so sorry. I've lost it. But it just helps me a lot. I just know that I have something that I can rely on. Technical. Yeah,
because that's something we talk about all the time here on the podcast is how important it is for the dancer to continue training.
Oh my gosh.
That no matter what they're doing, that training is so important because the foundation, the ballet foundations, those foundations you learned as a young kid and, throughout your dance career, how important that is. That's what's going to get you to the next level.
You spend so many hours on it. Like, why give it up? This is me nagging at myself because I haven't gotten into a ballet class in ages. I need to though.
And that's the hardest thing. Ballet class, when you get older, it's the hardest thing in the world to take.
It's just humbling because then you're looking at yourself as like, I used to not look like that.
And your hips, no matter what you do, your hips are killing you.
Yes.
My hips,
you hit
my
that
back.
first position, it's like, ow.
I'm doing my cambray. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm frozen. Hold on. All right, we're good.
Yeah. I point my toes and they get stuck. Like I get cramps. So it's, those basics, like you really, really got to, be grateful for them because that's what's going to get you through later on. And so, it's great that dancers understand we have to keep doing this. We have to keep 100%. Training no matter what. You have a job, that's great, but keep training on the side.
No, you have to. You have to. Like we were saying earlier, like you got to be a student first. Like you cannot let that go.
Yeah. And what are some things that you wish that dancers knew about college dance team before even trying it?
I think because I jumped in my last year and because I was a co-captain, I was already I was thrown into the deep end. So I had to figure out the time management of it all, plus running the business with my mother. That was pretty difficult. So I definitely would say being able to, I can't say this word in English very well, compartmentalize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That was good.
Thanks, guys. I'm working on it. Be able to do that with the aspects of your life. So if you're at practice or if you're at lift or if you're at a game or X, Y, and Z, you're at leadership studying, getting your study hall hours, like you are there, you are present, do what you have to do. As soon as that's over, move on next thing. Because if not, it's just going to feel so overwhelming. And I think it's very important to be able to know your habits, know which ones are bad and you got to break, so then you can time manage more effectively. Because I feel like that was the hardest part for me, was time management. But again, I was in a rare position. Like I was going from lift to study hall to classes, because again, you're still a full-time student, to then work, to then practice, to then rehearsal. So I was just having a 5 to 10 p.m. day every day, and it was difficult.
Yeah, you definitely have to be organized.
Absolutely. And so organization, time management, I'm sure that's like a really basic answer, but I can't stress that enough, because if not, you'll get overwhelmed, and then you look back and you're like, wow, like I was thinking about my final when I was at my last football game. Like, how sad is that? Yeah. Or I was stressed about the lockdown. I was thinking about how my rehearsals with my kids were, how my rehearsal with my kids were going to go at the studio while I was during lockdown. I'm supposed to be focused on my cleans, but I'm thinking about my kids. So it was a lot. But again, that's a rare situation. But you can use that in every aspect of your life. If you have work or a relationship, or you still, trying to see family out of town, like if you're an out-of-state student, like just be able to organize yourself in the best way and know that it's a really big time commitment, but it's so worth it.
It's a life skill that you
So
take
worth
with
it.
you later on. So
Absolutely.
And I mean, we're big advocates for a dance team, but I think in college it makes such a difference for your experience of
100%.
college if you're a part of the dance team. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend. I tell kids that they need to at least try it 1 year and see what it's like.
I wish I had longer, honestly. I was 23 on the team. I was the oldest one, dancing with 17-year-olds. But I wish I could have done it longer. Like, it was just such, like, and being involved with your school program too, like you understand like the history of the school, like you're learning the coaches' names, like the players, you're more involved with all aspects of the college.
What was your favorite part about dance team?
Definitely not the tunnel before hitting the stage.
That one's very stressful.
Definitely not the tunnel. I think the relationships that I built during it, to be honest. I met my best friends for life on the team. And despite even being on it for one, I ended up living with the girls after I graduated. Now a lot of them work for me at the studio, and we text every day, even though I live across the country. And it's just, you truly meet your family. Like, you spend so many, and there's always going to be moments where you bicker and you fight, but that's because you're with them for so long, but it just becomes a family.
Yeah, I mean, you're going through some really emotional experiences. Like, you go up and down when especially during nationals time and those rehearsals and the stress and and then getting there and then rehearsing again and not sleeping. You're on short leash.
You're on.
So you build these relationships with these people because they understand. Everybody doesn't understand what it's about.
We're all going through the same thing, and we're there for each other. So if someone is not doing well, you have someone else to pick them right up.
Exactly.
So it's a great
and you
time.
were, when you did it, you were in the Roman's Revenge dance.
No, the year before.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you were really on the come up of UCF.
Yeah. So that was, my team was Joyce's first of her team. So we were technically team 2 because she came in, I want to say like halfway through the year before, but my team was the one where she was able to like handpick and select her team. And that was the first year that we brought Davin Lawson to choreograph. And so definitely on the come up. We're the foundation. We're in there.
Yeah, I think we talk about Joyce all the time. She's done such an amazing job.
I love you, Joyce.
We love her too. We love Joyce too. She's just, what personality. Like, she just has this amazing energy, and she just, you could tell she's so involved and so invested and really wants what's best for the team.
Absolutely.
And she's done such an amazing job with the team. It's incredible.
Like, UCF is almost unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In all aspects.
The fact that they were a top 3 team last year is incredible.
If y'all see the video of me at Nationals, I was in tears.
Yeah. I was in the middle of a midnight rehearsal, basically, with my kids. And we were like, awards is going on. And we all stopped and we all were watching. And when they announced 4th place, we started crying.
I'm getting chills again.
Oh,
I have
my
chills
gosh.
again.
But like, what an amazing thing that, this team that really has been on the up and coming in the last just couple of years.
Yeah.
It was a year for the underdogs. That's what I said.
It was.
And I remember back in the day when UCF was up and coming also. They were like up there and, in jazz and in hip hop, and they were doing great, but all of a sudden they kind of like, dropped, and they kind of stayed, and, they just was no momentum. And it's just so hard in college.
Yeah.
People don't understand how hard it is to move up in the ranks with the teams come back every year, and they're, they don't drop. So to be able to climb the way that she did in such a short amount of time is very impressive. Very impressed. And I think that, you could see it now, like there's so much talent that she's recruited.
Yeah.
Kids really want to go there. Florida is such a great place to move to. So if you live,
shout out Florida.
Anywhere, if you live somewhere else and you want to come to Florida, what a great place. UCF is amazing.
Yeah.
It's a college town. We're saying it's a little college town, but it's still a big city.
Yes. Yeah. Using your resources. For sure. I watched your guys' podcast on that one. Like how important that is. And I think once UCF started doing that, like end game.
Yeah.
End game.
Yeah. And if you go see the school, like if you're, decide, let me go out there for the recruitment weekend and you get a tour of the school and you see it, you'll fall in love with it, because I think UCF is such an amazing, amazing school, such a beautiful campus, and they have it all. It's like a little town. It really is.
Everything you need is right there.
I wanted her to go so bad when she was young, and she stayed in Miami.
Oh, you could have been a knight.
I know. I stayed here. I was a Panther instead.
FIU went to DTU this past weekend, and they did really well. They won first in hip hop.
That's amazing.
Oh my gosh, go FIU.
So there you go. Look, your alma mater did good.
So proud. So proud.
Yeah, they're getting up there too. But I think that UDA, college is just crazy.
Crazy. Another animal.
It's just getting crazier and crazier every year. So, and you guys with FSU this year, incredible. What a great job.
Thank you.
I thought that the dance was spectacular. It was,
Thank you so much.
That must have been an experience. That was your first college by yourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what was that like?
Honestly, a lot of fun. Like the fact that we just had so much control. Like I think that was awesome. Like we were able to explore like what we wanted to do, and we did it, and it was a lot of fun. And again, like they have new coaching staff too, so
they're amazing.
We're all just I love them.
Yeah,
I love them
they're
so
the
much.
sweetest people ever.
I love them so much.
They're both great, and what a great combo they are.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I grew up with Naya.
Oh yeah,
Actually, yeah. So we went to the same dance studio growing up.
Oh,
So it's very small world.
it is.
Very, very small
Yeah,
world.
this dance world is very small. You never
Yeah.
know. You don't want to burn any bridges.
Never.
No, and I'm looking right at the camera. Hopefully the kids are watching this. Don't burn bridges.
No. You don't ever know who's going to come back around to you. So no burning bridges. I mean, you've got to, obviously you're not going to love everybody. And obviously, dance is so competitive that you're always going to have that competition with somebody. But really, you can't, because you never know when that's going to come back full circle.
Absolutely.
And you're going to work with those people and it'll happen. Or it's going to be a job that you want and they're the ones that do it. Which happens all the time.
Yeah, and you never know. You never know who's in the room or who knows who. That's a whole other one, too.
Yeah, I tell my kids all the time, you're going to need recommendation letters at different points. And, you want me to be able to give you a good recommendation letter. And, I'm not going to lie on a recommendation. I'm going to be honest. So you've got to make sure that if you ask me, that, you did what you were supposed to get a good recommendation letter for me.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's, it's just part of this world.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned it a little earlier, but what was it like doing the Descendants movie?
Oh my gosh, it was a lot of fun. I got signed because of that movie, and so I'm gonna forever be grateful for that. I have to thank Nathan though, because I wouldn't have gotten that movie if it wasn't for him. Same thing with make sure that you're on and everything. They ended up letting go a lot of the dancers that were originally there. He was already there. He was already filming. And they let go a lot of people, and they were looking for dancers, and they needed girls. And Nathan was like, "I know a girl," and and I was able to get put on, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is my first I've done other jobs and things, but this was first big production. It's Disney."
Yeah. And the Descendants.
And Descendants. It's a huge franchise, which I never ended up watching until afterwards.
Oh
my gosh.
No, but it was so much fun, and it was great, and I was able to get representation after that. Nathan was like, "Hey, just hit up Clear Talent and see if they can represent you on this movie," and they did. They temporarily represented me, and then afterwards decided to sign me, and now I'm seeing how important that is, being out in LA, being signed, because that's the chase out there. Everyone's trying to get signed, and auditions aren't happening, and you don't get the jobs unless you're with the agent and they send you on the job. But it's just a whole whirlwind of things.
How do you get signed with the agents?
I mean, there used to be auditions for open calls. But if you get lucky like me, you're able to, you can email them, you can call them, or if you have a contact or a reference, and just ask to be represented if you're on a job that can require representation. So being a SAG-AFTRA job, that's how I went about it, but that's not how everybody goes about it. I do know that agents scout a lot. I know that sometimes when you perform, let's say there's like a show happening in Los Angeles. I know for the Monster show, a few of our friends were on it. Nathan was on it as well. But for Rebirth, I believe that was in 2022, they ended up having a bunch of agencies there, just watching the performances, watching the dancers dance, and then ended up signing our friend there, like asking him to be a part of
and taking like these big classes, like going to Millennium and stuff like that, and you could be found, and discovered there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's why you never know. That's why you got to show face, and you got to get to present yourself in those classes how you would want to present yourself on a job,
because you never know who's watching.
Absolutely.
You never know who's in the room.
There
might be somebody in there that big deal, and all of a sudden they see you. So being on all and showing up to classes, showing up and continue taking class. Because I'm sure over there in LA there's constant classes. Here in Miami, I think it's one of the things that we really lack in Miami. There's so much talent, but there's no open classes like that.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, what is that? Like, what is that dance area around here? Because if you want us to move here, we got to be able to dance, right?
Yeah, well, that's...
Move here. Can open up a studio here.
Maybe that's what we could do for you guys. Maybe we could get a studio and you guys could have all these big classes going on.
That's funny.
But definitely, that's what we're missing out here. There's a million studios. Like, there's studios everywhere, but every studio is for, like, the kids to train to go to this. There's nowhere that people could just go take master classes from these awesome teachers. And that's something that we're lacking here, and that we really, I would love to have that, because I have so many kids that they just want to take class.
Want to dance. They want to take class. Train.
And from as many people as possible. That's why I try to bring them to the school and bring them to the program so that they could have it there. But if they had the opportunity to be taking those classes at night, on the weekends or whatever, a lot of them would be doing it. So we want something. We need something like what LA has. Here, we don't have that. So how lucky it is to have that over there that, I want to go take a class today. Okay, they have like three different studios to take
I'm opening all the apps. I'm like, okay, what's going on over here? What's going on over here? Okay, cool. And I'm just going to hop around. Love it.
Right. Fantastic. And the studios around here do a pretty good job of bringing in master classes, but master teachers, but they tend to sell out, and not everybody can do them. A lot of times it'll be just closed. Sometimes they're open, but most of the time they're closed to just the studios themselves.
It's not like a consistent faculty that you guys can count on.
And then it's hard because if I'm a studio owner, I don't want to be sending my students to another studio.
Right.
So they kind of like keep them, and they're like, no, you can't go anywhere. Social media helps, because if there is an open class somewhere and, a studio is advertising them, people are finding out. But still, it's kind of hard because, those kids, the studios don't want them going to other studios. So it's hard. So we kind of... couple of years back, I think it was probably before COVID, there was a Millennium that opened here in Miami.
Right, there was one.
There was.
That closed
very quickly.
Years ago, right?
Yeah, it closed too quickly. I think it just wasn't in the right location.
I think it was during COVID, it might have closed.
Maybe during COVID closed. Maybe it lasted a little bit longer than that, but I think that it was not in the right location. So... you're trying to get young kids, and and when I say young kids, I mean high school,
young
college,
adult,
and it was in an area that it's not where kids. It's not that it was a bad area, but it was an up and coming area, so it wasn't really the best area. It's kind of far. The traffic. So I don't think that they got what they really should have out of that. If they would have been in a different location, if they would have asked me for advice, I would have told them where to go.
That's the answer.
Yes.
Just ask me.
I would have told them.
Just ask Becky.
This is where you need to be, and it probably would have done a little bit better.
Yeah, maybe that's our next business venture.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, all we do is try to find solutions for you to just move to Miami.
Yes. We need Jovi and Nathan here in Miami.
Yes, that's the goal. That's the end goal. That I vouch for nothing more.
We just got out there. Let's take a second.
We'll give you a year or so.
Girl, a year. Maybe like a few more. Then we'll talk.
It's hard to compete with LA when it comes to that world, because it's so cool and there's so much going on over there. It is hard to compete, but Miami has great weather. We have great beaches.
No, for sure. Like I love Florida.
You have great people like us.
100%. We'll have a dog sitter.
There you go. Dog sitter.
I really just think we're just trying to focus up on our dancing, to be honest, because we've taught for so long that we want to make sure that.
Who has been your favorite teacher or class that you've taken over there?
Josh Smith. Josh Smith, Chris Brown's choreographer.
Amazing.
Hire me. His class was really fun.
Yeah.
For hip hop, so that was for that. And then contemporary, I really enjoyed Vicky Roan's class. She's part of a entity, which is like a contemporary company that they have.
How often do you try to take class?
Really depends. But the idea is at least a few a week. I wish I could do more, but they're just expensive.
That's what that's my next question. How expensive are the classes?
Like they're each one, I want to say like what, $22, $23 per class. Like ideally, if I could just spend a day at one of the studios and just take from like the beginning to the end, I would. But then there's rent. There's rent.
Food. What should I do?
Right. Like groceries, or am I gonna go take a jazz class? So it's also just trying to be smart too. Like especially with the first year of moving, because like the first year you move is the most expensive year. Like you're physically getting yourself there and moving all of your stuff. I do want to start taking more, but it's just so expensive. Yeah. It's just so expensive. And what I was trying to say, you just got to be smart in who you're taking as well, because sometimes they're looking for people for a job, or maybe they're booking, or they are an assistant choreographer to someone who did maybe the VMAs or the Latin billboards or something, and you just want to get yourself in those spaces to be seen. Yeah. Yes, to train, but doing your research.
Do teachers over there ever like invite people to come take the class because they want to film them? So like, if I'm a hip hop choreographer, I'm going to want Nathan to come take my class, so I could put him in the front, I could film him, and I could say, look who was in my class, and he makes me look good. So do you have to pay for class if they invite you to do that?
It depends. Each studio is a little bit different with their rules, so they're called like guest spots. So what ends up happening is a lot of these choreographers end up sessioning a couple days before that they choreograph. So with your session, they just like rent out one of like the rental studios, and they ask a bunch of their friends to go, and to learn the routine beforehand, they like coordinate outfits, and like they do their formation for the video, and then they go and they have guest spots for the classes, so they don't have to pay. So I was fortunate enough to be able to get into a few sessions and a few guest spots. So then I can train for free.
Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say that's your little loophole there.
That's the loophole. Finding the sessions, like finding like your friends that teach, and being able to train in that way, because it does add up, and it is a lot of money. But it's an investment for yourself. So you have to be able to put it on the balance.
I hear, like I've heard people complain that they feel like they're cheated sometimes when they go to these classes, because so much of it is filming for social media. Yeah. And so like they feel like, okay, it's an hour class, but really it was a 30-minute class.
Girl, because, it's like a 2-hour, it's like 2-hour classes over there. And it's like a 45-minute learning. The rest is like recording in groups. Yeah.
So are you getting what you pay for? I mean, that it's hard because you want to be like picked to be filmed on and come on, because that's going to be so great for you.
Which I think that's a great opportunity, because you have to. At the end of the day, the Instagram is our resume. Like we have to have those videos up. Like some people don't even know I do hip hop, because I don't have any hip hop on my Instagram. So it's important to get in those classes and get those good quality videos. And so I get that, and that's super important. What honestly makes me upset about the classes is how they overpack them. Like they just oversell the classes, and so you're like taking class like this. Yeah. That is what gets me. Yeah.
Especially the better teachers are going to be like that. Yeah. The studio spaces aren't humongous. They're bigger than what we have here, but they're not humongous. So it's, when you have like a combo that moves a lot, it's like, get out of my way.
Yeah. Excuse me. Dancing here. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's probably the hardest. The video stuff, like I get it. It's important. It has to be done. I just time manage in a way that, we're learning for the majority and just recording at the end.
Yeah. No, and if you don't want to stay for the video recording, then you can leave and say, I don't need to stay any longer. Do they assign spots for class, or it's like wherever you could, fit and stand? Do they say, okay, you guys are going to be in the front? Or
no. Usually the choreographer's homies or the teacher's homies are in the back corners.
Oh, okay.
Showing up 20 minutes late, reversing the combo. It's a lot more relaxed. Outside the fashion, I would definitely say it's a fashion show in classes in LA. Everybody's dripped to the nines. Oh. And
do any of the dancers, they get sponsored for their outfits and what they're wearing?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I'm sure a lot of the people that are involved with conventions especially as well, because I know they have sponsors and stuff. I know there's a few brands that do that. Brand deals. I know a few dancers that post that on Instagram, and they wear their stuff. You have your deliverables. but again, I'm not very involved on that side of things. I'm just finding my way, you guys.
Yeah. We'll help you, even though we're not helping here.
No, it's great.
We'll do what we can.
Yeah.
So, you've obviously had a very colorful dance journey. You've done it all. Who's been your biggest inspiration?
Nathan and Sherry. Yeah.
Nathan.
Nathan and Sherry. Yeah. Definitely. No one moves like him, man. And he's just so knowledgeable. You can truly ask him about any style and anything, and he's going to give you what year it was created, who it was created by, where did it come from, and what was the inspiration for that specific move. And it's so special.
And at the same time, he's an engineer. He's doing math
Not
problems.
only my inspiration in dance, but the smartest person I know. Yeah. Don't get him speaking, though, on that, because I'll just... No, absolutely. Inspires me. And I would have quit long ago if it wasn't for him. Truly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's great that you guys push each other. And you guys work so well together.
We had to learn. We had to learn to do that for sure. Because we both are very opinionated people.
Yes. But
yeah.
yes. But like it's interesting because I was able to sit back and watch you guys, especially this last year in the process. And in the things that I don't think either one of you lack in anything. But like in the moments where like maybe you got stuck with something, he knew exactly how to recover. Yeah. And opposite. Yep. Like same thing with him. Like if there was any point where he was stuck, you were able to come back and you guys just work so well together. I remember telling people you were going to be the next Nappy Tabs. I'm telling everybody right now.
We just need a cool name.
I know, we're trying.
Because anchovy does not work.
No, we're trying. No. We're working.
It has to die.
It has to. We're working on it. We asked ChatGPT. Not a lot, but we're going to figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, he definitely like my missing puzzle piece. If like exactly like you said, if there's something that like I'm stuck on or trying to figure out, he fills it. Same thing, vice versa. And it's one example after the next when we're working with these teams and collaborating together, and it's just so cool that it just like worked.
But it's great because not everybody has that kind of work chemistry.
Yeah.
You can have, you can be absolutely in love and in a great relationship but not work well together.
Yeah, no, and I'm blessed every single day that I get to go through this like dance journey with my partner who is passionate, ambitious, and wants all the same things that I do.
No, and that you get along because you could be in the same career but not get along
and like,
bump heads.
No.
That's not easy. So the fact that you guys are able to like connect and mesh together and work together, and how much fun. I mean,
it's a great time. I'm going through life with my best friend. Like we choreographed for Puerto Rico this past year.
Yes.
By Amon. And the fact I got to travel with my boyfriend to Puerto Rico and we got to come up with dance together. Like how fun is that?
You're going to get more and more jobs for sure like that you'll get to continue traveling and see the world and,
That's the dream.
As long as you never leave me behind.
Girl, never. Ever.
And that's a great thing about how college dance teams have really exploded in the past couple of years is that all these schools are growing and they're looking for choreographers. And so, when opportunities you guys have, there's so many opportunities for you guys in high schools and colleges. In the professional world and traveling while you're doing it. It's a great career.
So many avenues in dance that just go unexplored. You just got to walk through the doors as they open.
Exactly. And just allow yourself to the possibility of failure and just accept it and say, you know what, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to give it a shot.
Absolutely. Water off a duck's back because there's always something next.
Exactly. And I think that was one of my favorite parts about hiring you guys was, at the end of the day, I was taking a chance. I knew that you guys had never done something on your own. Yeah. But it felt right. So, let's all take the leap together. Let's all do it together and figure it out together. And it worked out for the best. But, I think at the end of the day, that should be a lesson to everybody in dance in general, that there's going to be moments where it's scary or moments where you might not know if it's going to work out or you just kind of need to take a chance on someone. Yeah. But, it might all work out for the best.
Yeah, take that leap because you never know.
Yeah.
And I know that you help him with hip hop. Does he help you with contemporary choreography?
He actually has, yeah. So we, at the dance studio is where he started coming in and hasn't choreographed like group numbers before, and I like took him under my wing and I was like, hey, like let's do a contemporary dance together. So we started having like a yearly collaboration, and we would like switch styles every year. So I feel like we learned a lot about how we work with each other there before going into like a bigger setting like dance team. But yeah, so he helps me a lot. We've done a few pretty successful contemporary routines, I would like to say. Yeah, so we do fill each other's cups.
Because what a cool way to experiment with movement. Because, you know, hip hop and him that he could do like the smooth hip hop, making contemporary choreography out of that. I'm sure it's, you know.
Being versatile just helps in all. It's something that I would tell my kids all the time. And it was just like, even though hip hop not your cup of tea, you're not your favorite, you're a ballerina through and through. Like, in the ballet world, you do have to have your contemporary side. If you compete at Universal Ballet Competition, YAGP, there's the World Ballet Competition, there's a contemporary round. And why don't you stand out just a little bit further if you have other textures to pull out of your pocket, other ways of moving your body? So the more versatile you are, like, the more tricks you got in your hat.
And people think that because they're ballet trained, they can't do hip hop, but that's absolutely not true.
No. Right here. Yeah. Right here. They called me the ballerina back when I was on a crew.
They did a whole movie on that.
I was in the BRC. I was in the back right corner, and they called me ballerina.
Yeah, Sammy McFadden, she was a trained ballerina. Yeah. And, you know.
Look at her now.
So when people are so close-minded and they think, oh, ballet trained, I can't do hip-hop. Absolutely not. I mean, it's, you know, you can do everything. You just have that ballet base, and then you just go from there.
It helps you so much in hip-hop. I mean, football players take ballet.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true. They need it. It's great for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it does. It builds certain muscles in your body, and I think even with hip hop too, you learn how to use different types of muscles.
100%.
That it might make sense in hip hop, and then when you go to take a ballet class, you're like, oh, I remember when that muscle worked. Yeah. Maybe I can do it. And like, each style pushes the other style, and it makes you better and well-rounded, and that's what you need. Like, you're never. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that a lot of people will get hired for a job if they don't have that versatility.
No, they don't.
Because you need to be able to kind of just pick up whatever it is that they want you to do.
It's true. I don't think my contemporary would be where it is at today if it wasn't for hip hop, and vice versa. I wouldn't consider myself hip hop as a hip hopper or anything of that sort, but I definitely do use the foundation that I've gotten from ballet, contemporary, the technical side, to aid in my hip hop, and then the hip hop to aid in my contemporary, and the style and the texture and looking a little different and finding who I am within that style, even though I grew up technically trained. Like, it's just so interesting.
Well, I think you're a fabulous hip hopper. So.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
All right, so we're going to close it out a little bit, but we're going to do some fun questions with you. I mean, it's been fun anyway, but...
It's been super fun. So what's your favorite song to dance to right now?
Jungle.
Ooh.
Jungle. It's not a song, but it's their album.
Yeah.
We saw them at Lollapalooza, and it always gets me moving. Like Back on 74, Come Back.
It's a great album.
Yeah, great album. Yeah.
Yep. If they go into your dance bag, what's always in your dance bag?
Feminine products. Sorry, I don't know if you have to cut that out, but like, you never know. You gotta be prepared.
Absolutely.
You gotta be prepared.
Yeah, you do have to be prepared. You never know.
Yeah.
So, what do you prefer, like, dance style wise? East Coast, West Coast?
I'm gonna say West because it's new to me. I'm gonna say West because it's my new challenge.
There you go.
Yeah, and I want to embrace that, so I'm gonna say West.
Okay.
What's your go-to drink? An energy drink or coffee?
Energy drink.
Yeah, which one?
Alani's. I like the way they taste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drink girl though. You'll see me with a snack before you see me with a drink, but I'd probably say the Alani's are my favorite.
So when you have to, like, I gotta wake up, I gotta go.
Alani or Celsius.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alani or Celsius.
I love a Celsius.
Oh. The Arctic Freeze one?
Yeah, I can't do them. I can't.
No? First time I had it, my heart was racing. I thought I was going to fall straight over. No, but I'd probably say that. Coffee, like, it doesn't really do much for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say the same.
I feel like Celsius's wake me up a lot more. Alani's wake me up a lot more.
You're a matcha girl.
I'm a matcha girl.
Oh, you know what? I lied to you guys. A Red Bull?
Oh. I used to
I could do a Red Bull. I could do a Red Bull any time of day.
And any flavor Red Bull?
The original.
Oh.
the car oil tasting one. The one tastes like a car battery. That's the one for me.
I'm a Diet Coke girl, so I just that's all I have.
When she's in a bad mood, just give her a Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I think the regular Coke, but it doesn't wake me up. Again, doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I can't do the energy drinks no matter how hard I try. Just
the taste, or
the taste. The only thing I can drink is Diet Coke. I don't.
That's
like,
it.
I don't like tea. I don't like the matcha. I don't like juices. I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like matcha. I'm the same way. I'm not a big drink girl, but
I love a matcha.
Yeah,
I love a matcha.
I can't.
First sip, I'm like,
I feel like I'm like laying down the grass and just like licking the lawn. It doesn't.
Yes.
Sorry.
Last question. So, if you weren't doing this dance world, what do you think you would be doing?
I'd probably be trying to act.
Okay.
I'd probably be trying to act. I was a little theater kid in school. Can't sing, but I would say that's my next big ambition. But if not, then the degree is always there, and I can go back to school. And I probably still will go back to school because I feel like it's really important to me. But I'd probably be trying to act. Yeah.
Well, it's a great thing to have as a professional dancer, having that fallback, because you never know.
Yeah, learn my body a lot.
Well, I mean, and you study physical therapy, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, in that, there's so much you can do with that. You had to go,
Absolutely.
Once you're done with the dance world, you'll definitely have a job.
Yeah.
So important for you guys as dancers to get that degree.
Yes.
Because,
Have that fallback.
Yes.
You never know.
No, you never know. I'm going to forever encourage that as well. It's super important.
No, dance is not forever. So you need something else, so that later on, once you're done dancing, your body says, no más.
Because that will inevitably happen.
Yes.
That will inevitably
I know.
happen.
People don't think it happens, but, when you're young, you think, I could do this forever. I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to get injured. But, it does. Little by little, your body starts shutting down. So important to have that fallback.
Absolutely.
And having a physical therapy degree, I mean, as a dancer, is so great to have.
I became
you understand your body.
Exactly. And a teacher, too, if you're ever going to look into teaching. Like, I believe every dance teacher should maybe get into an anatomy class, read a textbook on that case. Because
Absolutely.
you're teaching about the human body and how it works, and you should probably know what it does, too.
Yeah, we do. For dance certification, you have to have taken kinesiology, you have to have taken injuries for dancers and all that. So, I mean, it was such a long time ago, I can't even remember half the things. But yeah, it's something you have to take. So you need it. You need it as you're teaching, because you're helping the kids. You want to make sure you're not injuring them. So
Absolutely.
Well, Jovi, it was so great to have you here. Thank you
great
so
to
much.
Be here. Oh, thank you guys.
And I just had you teaching class, and my kids absolutely loved you. So I'm hoping to bring you back.
Oh, I would love to be back.
Yeah, maybe in when we have our intensives and stuff, we could bring you back to Miami, and
she'll be here.
You can bring your puppy with you, and when you get your puppies.
The puppy. And we want the puppy.
I tell him every single day I want a dog or a cat or anything.
Something fluffy.
Something I can snuggle with when you're traveling.
Yeah, he's going to come home with a little stuffed animal.
Don't do this to me, Becky. You're breaking my heart.
Well, thank you so much for being here. We loved it.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on today's episode of B.A.Showoff, the Dance Lifestyle Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you have any questions, click on our link tree in our Instagram and make sure to fill out our Google form.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Jovi, for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.